Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brothers and sisters, today we're going to talk about a very important topic, which is like in today's we live in. Nowadays there is a lot of mental illnesses that unfortunately has impacted also the Muslim world. So we are not exception. Nobody's exception. In this time we live in, where we have COVID-19 going on, and we have so many problems, wars, and fights and stupidity, and we have psychotic, I would say, I'm sorry to say this, but psychotic leaders of the world that are destroying this place and just speeding up the signs of the doomsday. And what the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam has said, that in the end of the world there will be leaders that will be raising the architecture. They will make big skyscrapers. So they will يتطاولون في العمران, just as in the words of Arabic, how the hadith came. So these people are just building or just putting the mosque with too much decoration. Instead of you focus on the prayer and focusing on what you say to Allah, you focusing on that whatever is in the ceiling of the mosque. Or is it in gold, or is it in silver? Or is that light is silver, or is it gold, or is it shining, is it diamond? So and this is the world where we have so much going on. But the topic of today is going to be about being watched. When someone says to you, I'm being watched, it's automatically understood this person has schizophrenia, or has paranoia, has mental illness, something is watching him. Well, yes, there is these diseases, but also I would say that not everybody that says I'm being watched is mentally ill. When somebody says I'm being watched, ask him who's watching you. When they say I'm being watched by Allah Almighty, then you should cry for yourself, because you never think of that too. So we are being watched by Allah Almighty to be watcher of everybody else. So anybody that watches over the blessings of Muslims, over the Alal Adhan, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. So after the Adhan, I'm sorry guys, because it's just the Adhan of the Salah. But I was saying, if somebody says I'm being watched, or somebody is watching me, you should get closer to that person and say that there is God that is watching over us. Because they might be being watched, of course, by their Qareen. The only second watcher that is watching over us in this dunya is the Qareen of us, from the Alameen, the Jinn, the one that is, Allah has assigned to be watching over, all Muslims. But the only time the Qareen gets stronger and actually hurts you like that and causes you to be paranoid and have these issues is when you are so far from Allah, or somebody hurt you, or something happen. Like sometimes some people get mental illness not because they choose it. Sometimes it's because they've been tested by Allah, and then they had the mess, what they call it, the thing that happens to them. They start to have Sarah, psychosis, or whatever they call it. So, but in most cases, when somebody says I'm being watched, know that they've been through maybe some hardships that took their feet away, or destroyed their core belief, or something happened to them that is spiritual, or touched them spiritually strongly, and changed their way of thinking. So, but in all this, the most important is we are being watched by Allah Almighty. And the only time your Qareen is gonna be causing you that you are being watched by him or by the other entities, whatever the spiritual entities are in our world, is when you are giving them too much attention. Because your enemy, whenever you give them too much attention, then it's like you're raising them up over Allah Almighty. So when you're being watched, remember Allah, that is the watcher of everybody else. He's the bigger than the planets and then the earth and then everywhere. Just see, when you're traveling, you see everything small. Down when you are in the airplane, you see everything small. So we are nothing. There is nothing here. What you're gonna be watching? who's gonna be watching us. Only Allah watches even the worm from the deep of the ocean. So that's only Allah. He has the bigger basar, the bigger vision. It's not GPS. No, I'm not talking about this. Because this actually is made for people that are schizophrenic. Because the schizophrenic people will always think somebody's tracking me with GPS. Somebody's putting something in my body. Somebody's putting, maybe they are watching me in the cameras. Maybe. So who's been sick with this? There is no other vision bigger than Allah's vision. If there is GPS, we don't care about it. If there is camera, we don't care about it. Like for people that steal, if you're not scared of Allah Almighty, of course you will need cameras to watch you then. But then if you are only scared of the cameras, that's what makes you not steal. You are not, you don't have a spirit. You don't have no fear. You are evil. So I was just talking about this, this topic because I know schizophrenic people or whatever who has a mental illness, that is paranoia, we like this, what it talks about. But I just want to say that Allah Almighty is the big watcher of everything else. We don't care whatever happens in this world anymore. Who wants to watch us? Who wants to put numbers to our prayers? He put numbers to our prayers. He said when COVID-19. This is going to be watching anybody that goes to the mosque and make a prayer. We say you can watch us, maybe for our safety. That's what I think. But in the other side, if you're watching like who's praying, we don't care. We only care about that there is a big watcher of everybody else. And who's watching over our blessings Allah has given us. He needs to think about himself. He needs to think to revise himself and return to Tawbah. And that's why we are here. Whenever we recite the Quran, it's a reminder for everybody else, for ourselves, and for the Alameen, and for anybody that listens. So this is all the topic about the mental illnesses that some people are struggling with, and because of being so far from Allah, from the Quran, I talk about myself because I'm not perfect. Being away from the Quran and being away from the words of Allah Almighty makes us always have these, disorders, and also the anxiety and the depression and all kind of, the diseases of the time we live in. And also nutrition plays a big role, like following the Sunnah, the nutrition of Rasulullah, the fasting, the hijama, the dates, the 7 dates every morning. And of course, asking refuge from Allah Almighty, because nobody knows what's gonna be our end. What is gonna be the last deed we do before we meet Allah Almighty. That's what we ask most. May Allah bless us with a good ending. A good ending, which is gonna be the last minute, the last breath in our life. What do you say to the angel of death when he comes and is gonna take you to Allah Almighty? What you gonna tell him? Who you believe in? Who are you first? Before, who's your deen? What is your prophet, and who you believe in? What is your, who created you? So you need to ask yourself, who are you? What are you doing here? Why you are created? What is the reason from your living? And why you are eating? Why you are sleeping? Why you waking up? What are you gonna make? What is your time? How you gonna consume your time? So that's the most important here. That's why we are being watched. If you feel being watched, yes, you are being watched by Allah Almighty, and also by the soldiers of Allah Almighty too. We have angels around. They always check on the believers that make dua, so they can write them down and do istighfar to them. There is angels that are responsible of people that do the sadaqah. There is angels that are responsible of people that just do the tasbih. Do you know how many angels are in this world, or in the sky? Our Rasul he said, there is no place in the heaven, the dunya, the sky, or in the first heaven. There is no place in it where you can put a finger, except there is a malak, an angel that was prostrating to Allah, doing some kind of a worship, maybe tasbih or ibadah. So we are not alone here. We have spirits that are trying to watch us for the evil and hurt us for the evil, and there is spirits that are watching us also, so we can be good, better. And there is the spirits that are no harm at all, which is the angels, because they are made of light. Thus they always, when they are around, you feel such a peace. But when there is other spirits around, you always feel anxiety, you feel depression, you have other stuff. That's why you always need to get closer to Allah, to tahsin. And this message is for everybody, for the Muslim and non-Muslim. or that, maybe they think of the, what is tahsin, so because everybody that says La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in the heavens and in the earth, we always need a refugee from Allah Almighty, because we live in a spiritual realm too, not just a physical one. The physical is just, is just temporarily. After this, we will be in new bodies in heaven or either in hell. We ask Allah not to go there. And then we're gonna be transiting to the Dar al-Baqa, which is the permanent living situation until the day of the judgment. So this message is for the Alamin, the Muslims, all the Muslims in the heavens and the earth. We are being watched by Allah Almighty, who is responsible of everything and who's watching the worms in the depth of the ocean and is feeding them. He doesn't need your GPS. So those people that are being schizophrenic or whatever, they are causing schizophrenia to people. We don't need GPS, we don't need nothing. Allah has the biggest vision for everything that He has created, and is very capable of it, and He doesn't need assistance in it. He doesn't need assistance, so He can do His, whatever He wants to do. We don't ask Allah what He is gonna do. We are being asked what we do in this planet, not Him. وأقول قولي هذا والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.